guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today I'm going to talk about DNFing and I have a full unhaul here as well. So since I have become more and more of a prevalent reader, I have been able to hone what I like and what I don't like within probably the first 50 to 100 pages of a story. And before, when I was just kind of getting back into reading, I was not DNFing, and DNFing is did not finish. So I would 100% just commit to a book, to an entire series, and finish it for the sake of finishing it. Not because I enjoyed the story or because I wanted to know what happened, just to finish it. Instead, I finished it. I have since stopped doing that, and if anything, I have become extremely ruthless in what I DNF. I can DNF a book within the first 5 pages. Usually I try and give it at least a couple chapters, usually 50 pages, but if it's something like some of the criteria that I have for DNFing ranges, I actually track why I DNF books in my giant Excel sheet. And the big ones are the story is extremely predictable. I can predict the ending within the first couple of chapters. The writing style, there are just some authors I don't mesh with the writing style of. There are some where I'm just like, I hate everything about this. So I think I just label that as hate. I also have one called Gross, which has only happened a couple of times. That one's a little bit rarer, and then the other one's boring. Boring and predictable are kind of, it depends on the book, but if I'm bored, if you don't hook me within the first couple of pages, I have no high hopes for the rest of the story. So I've been DNFing a lot. My average is about 8 books a month is how much I DNF, and that's a lot, but I read anywhere from 20 to 30 books a month at this rate. And those are ones I only count the books I finish. I do not count DNFs. I actually have it set up on my Goodreads where it doesn't even count towards my reading goal as well. And if you want to know how to do that, I can definitely go through how I've organized my Goodreads if that's something people are interested in. But yeah, so I've been DNFing a lot. I think for February, currently I'm at 7. I think I'm at 7. So I have my January and February unhaul piles. Usually I go to half price once every quarter to get rid of all these unhauls and get them out of my house. I'd rather people who will enjoy them go to it. Plus then I get some money back. So I'm going to go through not all these are DNFs. Some of these, I did finish the books, but I just don't want to keep them because I didn't like them. I didn't hate them enough to DNF. I just don't feel like keeping them. So for my unhaul, the first book I have is Snow Falling by Jane Gloriana Villanueva. This is the book that is a companion to the series Jane the Virgin. This book was just Jane the Virgin. I thought it was going to be a unique story. We got bits and pieces within the show, and I should have known better from that, but it is literally just the story of Jane the Virgin, but in written form and in the 1800s. So I didn't really want to just read Jane the Virgin when I can just watch it again. Up next, I have the entire Legend series. I tried reading Legend this month and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was very pick-me, very early YA. I wanted to try and jump on the train, but I'm way past that point. I think if I had read this when it came out, and I think this came out, this came out in 2011, so I would have been a junior in high school. I would have devoured these. These are very Hunger Games, Divergent, but I never caught on to this series. I think had I been, I would have loved it. I got about 50 pages in it, and I couldn't do it. It was predictable. I knew it was going to happen. And the character had such pick-me girl energy. And I think the words, I'm not like other girls, was written. And at that point I was done. So I'm getting rid of the entire series. I do really love Marie Lu. I have my other collection right behind all these other books. I've liked everything besides that I've read by Marie Lu. The next one I have is Girls Made of Snow and Glass by Melissa Barshadoost. This was so predictable. I think I got about 100 pages in. And I could tell you exactly what was going to happen and how. It was just, I don't want to read a book that I've really read before. I want twists and turns, and this wasn't giving that to me. My next DNF was Crave. I've heard mixed things about Crave. I wanted to get an opinion for myself. Again, very pick-me girl energy, and it was just Twilight, but a tad shinier. and you polish a turd, it's still a turd. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't even get to the vampires. I hated the main character so much. Like, no, thank you. The next DNF was All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. I'm not a huge fan of YA thrillers. I think I don't have any left, so I think this is my last one that I was gonna give a last chance to. I just can't do young adult thrillers. They're way too predictable. This was the exact plot of One of Us is Lying. And again, it was just so predictable. I knew the twist. Next DNF I have is Beyond the Ruby Veil by Mara Fitzgerald. I just didn't like the writing style. I couldn't mesh with it. I couldn't care. I think I gave this like 50-ish pages. And I couldn't get into it, unfortunately. And it was a little too Gossip Girl for me, which don't get me wrong. I loved Gossip Girl in its time when I was a teenager. I'm no longer a teenager. I'm leaning towards a lot more adult, new adult fantasy stories opposed to the YA. And I think that is a testament to the fact that I am almost 30 and I have been reading a lot more romance, which is a lot, and dark romance, which has a lot of darker themes. The romance is very different and not the ooey gooey YA stuff that I typically would read. Next is actually not a DNF. I read The June Boys by Court Stevens, and I did like this. I gave it 3 stars. This is it is a YA thriller, and that's why I gave the Diana Urban one a chance, because I liked it, but it's not something I would ever read again to look for the clues and figure out who done it. It was a decent story. It kept me hooked. I liked it. I didn't really feel satisfied at the end. It just sort of ended, if that makes any sense. So I will be getting rid of this one. Next is a DNF, that is River of Royal Blood. This had the I'm not like other girls trope. It was very predictable, and I couldn't care. I couldn't do it. If you notice there's a theme, I have to care, like really early on. I have to give a crap about the characters in the story. Similar to this one. And I was really sad because I really love this author, and I hated the characters. They were so annoying and entitled, and I couldn't do it. I really wanted to like this. I loved the movie. It was cute. It was fun. But I think Melissa de la Cruz's writing style is not for me. I've tried a couple of her other books, and I could not get into them. And I think it is a writing style thing. And this author is just not for me, unfortunately. Next is My Calamity Jane by the Janies. I've liked the first 2. They were really fun. And I think one of the reasons I really liked the first 2 is I knew the characters that they were based off of. This one, I knew nothing, and I gave it like 100 pages, and I was just bored the entire time. And there was nothing really exciting going on for me to continue reading it. The rest of the books are no longer DNFs. They are books I actually read. I'm getting rid of this book. This is my Fairy Loot edition. I did really like Spice Road. The reason I'm actually getting rid of this is my first copy came damaged. So I emailed Fairy Loot, and they were great, sent me a brand new copy, and I'm keeping that one. But I'm going to give this one to either Sarah or Hannah, whoever would like it. But it's damaged, and I have a copy again. That I had all my annotations when I did read it earlier this month. But I did really like this story. I just don't want to keep a damaged copy. Next is another Fairy Loot. This is actually the December Fairy Loot, and that is Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston. I did not like this book. I gave it, I think, 3 stars, and that was being generous. The main character had such a woe is me mentality, and she was so aggravating the entire time. I wanted more of the illusions, the magic, the tournament, the vampires, all that cool stuff. And no, I just got her pity party. So I am actually getting rid of this one. Again, if Sarah or Hannah wants it, I let them usually have first dibs before I go to half price if they want to take any of these books off my hands, because they may enjoy them more than I did. But no, I really did not like this book, unfortunately. And usually I really enjoy the Fairy Loot or Owl Crate books. I no longer subscribe to Owl Crate, but I still have my Fairy Loot. And usually I love them. And this one just, unfortunately, I did not. Next I have The Cold is in Her Bones by Pertnell Van Arsdale, and this was like a weird Medusa Fae story, and it just, for me, it wasn't long enough. It was really weird, and it jumped all over the place. The writing was very convoluted, and the story just kind of ended. So I gave this, I think, 3 stars, and it's just something I wouldn't read again. The last book I have, unfortunately, may get me some hate, but it is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I read this right when it came out a couple years ago, and I was meaning to do a reread, but the more I thought about it, I did not enjoy my reading experience with Leigh Bardugo. I may start to break up with Leigh Bardugo now. I don't care for her writing style anymore. And I've also found that I do not like dark academia books. And this one is no different. I really wish I enjoyed it more, but I didn't care about the characters. The story was really weird and all over the place, and I didn't care for it. So I'm finally going to be taking this off of my shelves, and hopefully someone else will enjoy it. So that is my unhaul as of right now. It's about 2-ish months worth of books. And yeah, so I'm going to take these 2 half-price books, and hopefully they will find homes where people will enjoy them. And that's at least my whole goal. And that way I can make room on my shelves for books that I really enjoy and want to reread and visit again. So that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Wednesday, Friday, with the occasional Sunday, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!